Hello and welcome to the interview here on France 24. Our guest today is Mykhailo Podolyak. He's a special advisor to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He was his chief negotiator with the Russians. He is with us from Kyiv, where this Thursday the prime ministers of Germany and Italy, the presidents of Romania and France came. A truly historic day, said Volodymyr Zelensky. Important question for you. Behind this symbol, are there important actions that will follow?
Hello. It is quite important because I have a feeling that the three European countries, France, Germany, and Italy, managed to speak with a single voice. They showed that Europe is, in fact, united, and that Europe understands the reasons for this war and how this war should end. On the basis of what Mr. Zelensky said, we hope that Ukraine will receive the necessary support to be able to hold its own against Russia.
We know for a fact that certain declarations from the French President Emmanuel Macron did not go down well with President Zelensky and more broadly with the Ukrainians, especially when he said that he did not want to humiliate Vladimir Putin. Have things been clarified between both presidents about this French willingness not to humiliate Putin?
I would like to divide this question into two components. We understand that every country has an internal policy, and it starts with that internal policy on the basis what they need there, what the French people want. And clearly, the position of Mr. Macron is defined by the expectations of the French people. Second thing, in Europe, we had a different vision of the Federation than what we see now. We thought that Russia would comply with ethical rules, with an ethical behavior. But when we've seen what took place in Irpin, we now understand that Putin infringes all human principles, rules, and the rules of war. And this showed the actual behavior of the Russian Federation, and that it should be treated in a different way from other civilized countries. We believe that Mr. Zelensky is always efficient when he meets other international leaders. And the same applies to Mr. Macron. And their meeting was very critical to understand why Ukraine has a fairly harsh policy. I believe that Mr. Zelensky managed to be very efficient during those meetings with Macron, Draghi, and Scholz.
When you say very efficient, what do you mean? Did he get a pledge from Emmanuel Macron not to always call Vladimir Putin or try to meet him without concessions from the Russian president in the future?
No. I believe that we should emphasize reality correctly. Two parties are at war, the Russian Federation and Ukraine. The Russian Federation attacked Ukraine. And then, meeting Mr. Putin to explain that the way he conducts war is very dangerous for the whole world, That might be an interesting thing to do. However, I believe that to conduct a dialogue with the Russian Federation and with Mr. Putin, I believe that President Zelensky emphasized issues in the correct way. How we should understand the Russian attitude from a political and military way, why it is dangerous in the long term. We believe that this is a very critical dialogue. Mr. Macron, Scholz, and Draghi could see with their own eyes the damages inflicted by that war in the Kyiv area. I think it was important to discuss with President Zelensky after seeing that. Now they fully understand the reasons and the impact of that war, and we believe they will have a more comprehensive vision in terms of why and how that war should be ended, and not on the basis of the conditions set by the Russian Federation with territorial concessions. If we accept those concessions, the war will go on, and Putin will want always more, the whole Europe could be involved in that war.
We know that for you, Western armed deliveries are absolutely key. Are they gearing up? And you think that you can gain the upper hand, especially in the Donbas and even maybe in Crimea, because I understand Crimea is still a strategic objective for your country?
Смотрите, начну с ответа со второй части. Well, let me answer the second question first. In point of fact, to free the whole national territory is a priority. We want to restore territorial integrity as we had it in 1991. It is a priority. Because if Russians stay on our territory, they will keep up their aggressions. And it would be a long-term war, 1, 2, 3 years. So we don't want them to hold their positions. We want stronger sanctions, and we don't want to accept their scenario. Because if the Russians are not sufficiently strongly defeated militarily, they will keep up their attacks inside Ukraine. And the war will be even broader than what we have now. We believe that the Europeans who went to Kyiv will understand and will draw the necessary conclusions, and they will understand that the amounts and the speed of weapon deliveries have to be increased, because we have an efficient army, and our army can conduct war in an efficient manner. So that's the only issue. I hope you understand this, because President Zelensky fully explained to his partners very clearly, we need parity with the Russians in terms of military supplies and equipment to reverse the trend and to remove Russian forces from our territory. Once again, we do not intend to attack territories in other countries, but we have a right and we need to free our territories. If we don't end this war by pulling the Russian Federation forces out of our territory, if we don't do this, refugees abroad cannot come back. We don't want an army of Ukrainian refugees to remain on the territory of the European Union. We want them back.
Very quickly, Mykhailo Podolyak, because we're running out of time, can you confirm that this Friday a Russian tugboat in the Black Sea was hit by Ukrainian missiles? And more broadly, does that mean that Ukraine is willing to go on offense in the Black Sea?
All I can say is that all military operations are conducted by our forces, and accordingly, it is only the headquarters that is in a position to make any comments on what's taking place. Now, obviously, we always try to go on the offensive, included in the south, including in the Black Sea. But as regards those strikes, it's only the headquarters can comment.
Just as a conclusion, in a few words, how long will the war last, Mykhailo Podolyak?
You know, it's impossible to say this in a few words, but we have a consensus in Ukraine on this issue. If we receive heavy weapons fairly quickly, the war shouldn't take more than another 3 or 6 months. And if all conditions are met, we hope to take back our territories. If it turns out this way, Russia will no longer be in a position to threaten Europe and to be disruptive. So in order to properly end this war, we need those heavy armament supplies from our partners, and we need a Russian military defeat in the West and in the South.
Mykhailo Podolyak, Special Advisor to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, thank you very much for granting us some of your precious time, and thank you for watching this interview here on France 24.